if we look at the work behind this, 3 to the third power means 3 times 3 times 3. This is 3 to the third power. And we are multiplying this by 3 to the fourth power. So we would multiply 3 by 3 by 3 by 3. So 3 times itself 4 times. So when we look here, we have 3 timesing itself. How many times in total? We have 3 times itself 7 times. And that's really what we just did here. We have 3 to the 3 plus 4, which is 3 to the 7th. So this is our answer, and that was number 10. Okay, let's take a look at number 11. Okay, so number 11. Number 11 is solve the inequality. So 11, solve the inequality. So we don't have to graph it here, but it does say solve. And we have x over 2 is less than 6, and we have to solve this inequality. So if this was just an equal sign, which it's not, but if it was, we would just do the steps as usual. We would just bring down our line. We'd think to ourselves, okay, well, here we have x divided by 2. So the inverse operation of divide by 2 would be times by 2. Do it to both sides. And then these two would cancel out. We'd be left with our x. Have our equals. 6 times 2 is 12. And then we could check. We could take our 12 and put it back in. So we'd end up with 12 over 2 equals 6. So does 12 over 2 equal 6? Yeah, 6 does definitely equal 6. So this bit right here would be our check. Okay, now all of this stuff here is if this was an equation. If it was an equation because of the equal sign. So we don't have an equation, but we have an inequality. So, there are differences, but the similarities. We still do pretty much the same thing. So let's times by 2, draw a line. 2's cancel. We're left with x. 6 times 2 is 12. Now instead of putting this equal sign that we have over there, we need to make sure to put the same inequality. And this inequality is less than. So this reads x is less than 12. But this is our answer right here. That's our answer. And that was number 11. Okay. Let's take a look at number 12. Okay. Number 12 is an inequality, but this time we are asked to find out which diagram shows the graph of 4x plus 2 is less than 12. So here we're in fact being tested on a couple of things, because we do need to find which graph it is on the number line, but also we have to distribute. Whenever we see a number outside the parentheses, a couple of numbers inside a parentheses, and there's no operation in between them, this just means multiply. So we have to take our 4, we multiply it by the x. This gives us 4x. Now we already have a plus in there, so let's keep that plus for now. 4x plus. And then we take our 4 again and we multiply it by the 2. So that gives us 8. And then we could finish writing this, we still have the less than 12. So we have 4x plus 8 is less than 12. So now let's start solving this. Be careful. We don't want to really divide by 4 first. We have to get rid of the easy thing, which is the 8. So if we subtract 8 from both sides, and really this is a great habit to get into, drawing our dotted line. But if we subtract 8 from both sides, we end up cancelling the 8's here. So the 4x just comes straight down. 4x. We don't have equals, but we have the less than inequality. And then we have 12 minus 8. Well, that gives us 4. So now the next step that we would do, this was step 1, right here. So step 2, to get our x alone is to get rid of this 4. Now we can't just subtract it. It says 4 times x, that's 4x, so we must divide, because division is the inverse operation of multiply. So now our 4's disappear, but hold on, we've got to do the same to the other side. So now let's take a look what's left over after we do this. So we definitely still have the x on its own. We have the less than and 4 divided by 4. I was going to write 4, but be careful. Oh, we've got to check this. 4 divided by 4 is 1. Anything divided by itself is 1. So we are looking for x is less than 1. So for the answers, the multiple choice answers, we have a bunch of things, but let's just not even look at the answers. Let's think, how would we draw this? Well, there's my number line. You know, let's just put 0 in the middle, and let's put a 1 there. And if you want, you can put a 2, and on the other side of the 0, -1, -2, and a really good thing that I don't do as often as I should, but a lot of students are doing, is putting the arrows. So it's telling us these go on and on and on forever. So now we've got to try and draw x is less than 1. X is less than 1. So, you know, we know 0 could be okay. 0 is less than 1. We know -2 is less than 1. We know -2 and -1 are less than 1. We know even half is less than 1. Right here is less. So if we kept trying this, eventually all of these dots would make up a line. And this is very important because we need to shade the solution set. We need to shade the numbers that x could be, that our variable could be. But here's the thing. Notice I'm kind of stopping when I get up to 1. And this is because could x equal 1? If I said I'm thinking of a number less than 1, could that number be 1? It couldn't. I said it's got to be less than. If we said less than or equal to 1, then sure, x could be 1. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about x is less than 1. So that means on 1, we need to show that it could not be 1. And the method that we have is to draw a circle that's empty. If it was the case that we were doing x is less than or equal to 1, then instead of an empty circle on 1, we would shade it in. We would then shade in our less than. Notice the difference. But this is the correct answer, and this is one of the options as well on your page. So that was number 12. Okay, let's take a look at number 13. Okay, let's get rid of this stuff. Okay, so number 13, we're going to go a little quicker right now. And we might put a couple on a page. So number 13 is asking us 17 to the 0 power. And really, this is just a trick. You just need to remember this. That anything to the 0 power equals 1. So 1 would be answer. Okay, number 14. Number 14 is saying 5 to the 3rd power, all to the 3rd power. So when we look at this, we need to remember our power law of exponents. And one way to do this is, because these 3's are so close, you know, if I put a little line there, it looks now like a multiply. And so that's really what we've got to do. And you know, one thing that I like to do is put a circle around them. That helps me know to multiply them. So our 5 would stay there, and 3 times 3 would be 9. So that would be our answer for number 14. Okay, number 15 is asking us, again, it's a law of exponents, but it's asking us which of the following is equivalent to 8 to the 4th power times by 8 to the 8th power. Okay, 8 to the 4 times by 8 to the 8. So as we look at this, this again is laws of exponents. We have the same base, the 8's, the big numbers on the bottom. And the exponents, what we've got to do with them is we need to add them. So our answer would be 8 to the 4 plus 8. So this would give us an answer of 8 to the 12th power. And then again, it's just something we've got to remember. need to remember our laws of exponents. Number 16 is